This is Tyler Danger Deans with Arizona Music Mag. I'm here with Moabyte. Tell me a little bit about Moabyte.
Where do you want to start? You want to start at the very beginning?
I don't know if we've got enough time to cover everything, but let's start with the music.
I started with music probably when I was about 10 years old. I discovered early punk music like the Ramones, Blondie, Iggy Pop, David Bowie, things like that. And I became an instant audiophile. I can't exactly pinpoint the exact moment, but it was probably sometime in a record store when I was around 10 years old. And I've been consumed with music ever since.
So, when did you start creating?
I started experimenting with music in the mid-90s when I lived in Moab. My stage name Moabyte is a combination of my two favorite things, which is Moab, Utah, and my love of computers, which is the byte.
That's
kind
so
of squished
sick.
together. And I registered that domain name in February of 1996. And that's kind of when I started creating. I kind of like invented this persona, kind of maybe before they were even popular, like personas. The internet was new, and it kind of started with the idea that you could create almost anything you could put on the internet.
So when you were creating this persona, what kind of music did you initially start off with?
I listened to a very eclectic, wide variety of music, but mostly what I was experimenting with personally with computers at the time was what you would call like techno. A lot of loops. I got into video, being a video artist, through my audio studies. When I was living in Moab, I was taking correspondence courses with MIT. They were just through the mail courses. They weren't degree courses, but you could take these courses and you'd work at home and submit this stuff. So I'd submit DAT tapes or VHS tapes or various different formats, whatever the project called for, and they would be graded. And I was using computers. It was a very early version of Cubase that I was working with. There was a plugin called Expose, and it was made by a company called Archaeus. They're still around. It let you attach a video and effects and transitions and video files to your individual audio and MIDI tracks within the sequencer. And I became completely fascinated with the idea that you could attach a video and like an effect and a transition to the audio. And I was already working with a lot of loops, a lot of repetitive stuff that was, repeating over and over again. I kind of lost interest so much in studying audio production and became very interested in where this video production idea was going. And it was just a few years later, this little plugin became a standalone program, which was known as Archaeus VJ. When I first installed the program on my computer and I used it for the first time, I literally had this like an epiphany. I was like, my life has changed. And I immediately saw how visuals could become an instrument. Rather than being an audio artist, I became really fascinated with working with video and less interested in so much in what I was doing with audio, although I have done, some weird things with audio in the past.
With video, I've noticed you've kind of pioneered something brand new. It's called the dodecagon.
Yeah, many years ago in college, I had this idea to create immersive video environments, and they were really kind of inspired by childhood memories that I had of going to Disneyland and going into the installation that they had, which was a kind of a dome that created an immersive projected environment. And the idea was, but to do it digitally. I was very fascinated with Sony at the time were creating video walls, and all of the clubs at the time had all kinds of different projectors were starting to be used. My mind just kind of flooded, and I lost interest in a lot of that. It was something that it seemed very out of reach in terms of like doing at home. until my audio studies brought me around to, the RKS program when I was like the 2 and 2 kind of came together, and I've kind of been waiting for technology to catch up. And now, of course, we have amazing off-the-shelf computers that you can buy. The computer that I built within the last couple years, I now have, 2 really high-end, basically they're gamer cards, but they allow, 5 outputs each, and, so then you put 2 of them in your computer and you get 10 outputs. And finally, you can kind of create these projector arrays that allow you to, cover a lot of different space and a lot of different angles. And of course, there's a lot of pixels too that you're pushing. So I'm not using HD projectors, because you stitch them all together, you wouldn't want to take that many HD projectors. That's too many pixels for just about any graphics card. So I'm using much older projectors that are very bright. Most people have abandoned them because they're 10 to 12, 13 years old. When you need 6, 7, 8 of them to do different various installations, they become affordable when they're a lot older. Recondition them. So yeah, the dodecagon is kind of technology catching up with my ideas. Also being able to buy it kind of off the shelf or abandoned. A lot of what I do, because I guess I'm an old punk, I learned the DIY kind of way of doing things is, do it yourself, do it cheap, do it with what everybody else is throwing away. It's kind of the way I work. But
and more so than anything, just make sure that you do it.
Exactly, just make sure you do it. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing something that I wanted to do a long time ago, and we took this thing up to the Pitch a Tent 10-year anniversary and set it up for the very first time, and it was an amazing experience to finally see it set up.
So just so everybody knows what you're talking about, this is a, I want to call it like the Mad Max Thunderdome. It's like,
the dodecagon. A dodecagon is a 12-sided structure or shape. In this case, it's a structure that have equal angles and lines. And this is what Pythagoras used to create our modern musical scales in theory that we use today. And I've taken 6 of these sides in our structure and fill them with screens, video screens. So I project onto them, and then in one side, we'll have a stage, and we've got DJ Brace. This is at Audio Bend coming up in a couple of weeks out at Lake Pleasant. Love DJ Brace. And I'm bringing turntablists and video remix artists like myself and Cinematic, who you interviewed, and combining what they do and what we do in a video environment in this dodecagon.
So while the artist is on stage doing their thing, making their music, you're going to be controlling these 6 video screens that surround them on the main stage.
Yeah, exactly. And I do my own kind of little show that I do. I've never really publicly shown a lot of what I do with audiovisual arts. So I'm gonna show a little bit of what I do. But my main focus is on Brace and also DJ Action, who's from right here in the Phoenix Valley. A lot of people know who he is. He's been DJing a long time, and he does a thing called Fader Manners, which is really cool.
Now tell me a little bit about DMJ, Digital Media Jockey, your business. What are you doing there?
Okay, yeah, Digital Media Jockey. A long time ago, people were like, "Are you DJ?" I'm like, well, kind of. I do DJ. I mean, when I was in high school, I worked for a mobile DJ company, and I filled in for DJs at some of the teen clubs once in a while. But it wasn't really a DJ as you would know it today. But yeah, I was a DJ. But I was more like a VJ, but I didn't really like the term video jockey because I grew up in the MTV generation. It was like, well, I don't want to be thought of as like, a video jockey on like MTV or anything. I don't know, that seems kind of weird. So I was like, well, I'll just come up with something new. And I was doing everything digitally. I really like, as an artist, I like to explore the relationships between analog and digital. So I like to bring analog things into a digital world. I like to work with projectors only. I don't like to work with LED screens. That's a whole nother discussion. I won't get into that. But rather than calling myself a DJ or a VJ, I said, well, I'll call myself a digital media jockey, because it's more about the digital media that I'm working with. I mean, it could be flash drives or hard drives, or it could come off the internet, and then I project it. So I just kind of went with that, and it's very fitting. I've been using it for many years. A lot of people probably don't get it, but it just kind of works. It worked for me. Digital Media Jockey is the company that I operate under. It's kind of a, I guess on my Vimeo, describe it as like a video remix contribution company, I guess. It hasn't really developed into much over the years, but it's starting to take shape with different installations and different artists that I'm working with, and it's kind of growing. It seems like everything's digital now. So it almost fits with the way things work today.
Yeah, when I found those videos, I thought, this can't be the guy that Cinematics told me about. This doesn't look like what he's doing, but you kind of take things in a different direction with the way that you create. It's more like a lot of flow art that I saw.
Yeah, the clips that you'll see on my Vimeo and the demos that I create, yeah, it's a style that flows. I like to take things that are captured from film, whether they're filmed yourself or they're from movies, and the graphics that I create myself, which are mostly fractal based. I use a particular program that I've used for many, many years that basically is creating fractals. It has a certain aesthetic that I really like, and I've learned to use it in a way that is very quick. And I create content as I'm actually, almost at every event, I have the program open, and then just kind of letting it render things out. You can kind of go into it, and it lets you keyframe things very, very quickly. If you don't like things, it's easy to just move on to something new and randomly create these different trees that are mathematically based. That's why I call them fractals, because it's all really math, and it renders them out. Some of them are more complex. I've learned to, work with the stuff live that renders quickly. In the studio, I render the stuff that's more complex, but it's all really fractal based, and I combine it with the film stuff and live feeds, and now there's a lot of generative stuff, so the computers themselves are able to create, graphics themselves. That's pretty much my style.
Fractals.
Yeah, a lot of fractals, yeah. But my audio-visual stuff that I do is a lot of looping. I work, I'm also a DJ, and I combine that stuff with a lot of audio loop-based stuff that's, using DJ tools. I'm using the Rain 12s. I don't know if you've seen these pieces of equipment, but Rain came out with them. I guess they've been out for about a year and a half now, maybe a couple years. Seems like maybe a couple years they've been out now. The turntable artists have been using them. They emulate a Technics 1200 turntable pretty precisely, and they've been pretty interesting in shaping what I'm doing as an artist, which is why I'm kind of coming out of my shell with the video art stuff that I'm doing, because they made a big difference in terms of how I'm able to work with and control the video. So that's why I'm bringing Cinematic out. Is he's really good at creating these video remix things that he does. And I do something similar, but I don't record a lot of things with what I do. I'm not really big into recording a lot of things. Mostly what I do is a performance art.
You gotta see it live.
Yeah, you have to see it live. And I've spent many years working with, different programs and mixers, and mostly it's really just the power the computers have been able to catch up with how I'm able to use them. And they're stable.
So what are you most excited about for at the upcoming Audio Bend Festival?
I'm most excited to bring DJ Brace out again. He is an amazing turntable artist. I have always appreciated turntable arts and turntablism, but I guess I never really got into the technical aspects of it. It might just be a maturity with music, but I think a lot of it has to do with technology, is that technology has allowed a certain musicality to come into the turntable arts, and it's really brought it to a whole new level. The culture is kind of going through a renaissance. A lot of the pioneers of the art form are getting more attention, kind of the attention that they really deserve. And DJ Brace is not an old artist, he's a younger artist that has kind of been inspired by the turntable arts culture and has gone on to become a 3-time global DMC champion and a Juno Award winner, which is a Canadian Grammy, pretty much, I think, is how it's described. It's a pretty prestigious award. We brought him in for a Fader Manners that DJ Action does in 2017. We're really excited to bring him back again for Audio Band. He's a fantastic artist. I can best describe him as a trip-hop artist. You have to come see him to see what he does. It's just amazing what he does with turntables. You have to see him.
And you're going to be video mixing for him on the Dodecagon at the main stage?
Yes, I'm going to be video mixing, for everybody from the time the sun goes down.
You're going to be working all night.
all night, right.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
This has been Tyler Danger Deans, bringing you another one with AZ Music Mag, where we are cultivating Arizona music culture.